the line, dragging the line, dragging the line, dragging the line. I feel fine. I'm talking about peace of mind. I'm gonna take.
Sunday morning, up with the lark,
wonder I can't think at all. And my lack of education hasn't hurt me none. I can read the writing on the wall. Kodachrome, they give us those nice bright colors, give us the greens of summers, makes you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got an Nikon camera, I love to take a photograph, so mama don't take my Kodachrome away. If you took all the girls I knew when I was single and brought them all together for one night, I know they'd never match my sweet imagination. And everything looks worse in black and white. Kodachrome, they give us those nice bright colors, they give us the greens of summers, makes you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a Nikon camera, I love to take a photograph, so mama don't take my Kodachrome away. 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 Mama don't take my Kodachrome. Mama don't take my Kodachrome. Mama don't take my Kodachrome away. Mama don't take my Kodachrome. Leave your boy so far from home. Mama don't take my Kodachrome away. Mama don't take my Kodachrome. Mama don't take my Kodachrome away.
In preparation for tonight, I have often been asked, what was the most outstanding athletic event that you were witness to as far as Willie Wilson is concerned, sports notwithstanding, whatever you want to say. It's very clear in my mind. It was the coldest day I've ever experienced in my entire existence. It was at the Pioneer Field in New Providence, and it was an awful day. It was opening kickoff, and nobody ever laid a hand on him. Length of the field, and he scored a touchdown. Matter of fact, he scored more than one. But the event was marked in my mind every time I saw this on television on the Channel 36 Summit Football, because the film captured on the sidelines the reaction of the editor in charge of athletics for the Summit Independent, who watched as Willie ran by. And he was so upset, Mr. Polakowski, that he took his clipboard and threw it into the ground, and it bounced about 3 feet in the air. I had to interpret that as a partisan reaction.
First of all, I want to say to everybody that played with me, and especially guys that were, playing and having fun with us, it wouldn't have been possible without any of those guys. And I say that because Ernie's sitting over there, and Ernie Guapi was a pretty good athlete in his own right. And I just want people to know that wherever Ernie went, I followed. Ernie was that good, and I knew if he went that way, somebody was going to go down. So I had to go the opposite way. And without Ernie and guys like Johnny Fouché and Brad Paxson and George Gross and just Anthony Zachary, Bobby Gregory, Dave Mugford, there's just all those guys who we played not because of Willie, it was because we were a good team. And we played well as a team, and we got along as a team. And when you can put that combination together, it doesn't matter what kind of athlete you have, they're going to win. And I feel that that's why we won. It was pride, it was tradition, and I think how we kept that alive for us. Everybody contributed, and that's what I'm saying. If I wasn't there, I think we still would have won. That's how good I think that we were. And, you know, these 16 millimeters for you young guys doesn't give us justice. It really makes us look like we're running in slow motion. You guys are used to the DVDs and stuff like that, right? But we were really running fast, and we were moving a little bit quicker than we looked. So, but yeah, it was really fun back then.
Okay.
It was pride, it was tradition, and I think how we kept that alive for us.
Now, before we talk about the Overlook story, you mentioned something about Ernie to me as far as hitting people.
Well, yeah, Ernie, if Ernie wanted to be a scorer and he wanted to score like I was, he could do it. But I think Ernie just liked hitting people better than he liked scoring. He was a linebacker, so he took pride in hitting people, and he took pride in stopping people, and I think it made my job easier because on safety, I really didn't want to hit anybody unless I had to. And if you saw me running, my thing was to get away from people. I didn't want to hit anybody. I just wanted to see if I could get by him or around him. And the object was to score points. It wasn't to see how hard you could run into a guy. So I figured that out really quick. I didn't want to run into this guy if I didn't have to. So, but Ernie and all those guys that played with us, they were good athletes, but Ernie, I thought, without him, I wouldn't be anywhere.
Well, Ernie, you were first team, Group 3, All-State as a linebacker, and actually Ernie was in some of the film clips. You had one hell of a career. Some questions out there. Anyone with some questions? Mark?
What's the significance of 21?
What's the significance of 21?
Well, you know, that was the 21, and he said, what's the significance of 21? Well, first guy that wore it was Tommy Odell. And
Tommy, Johnny Mallory, and Willie are the only three to have their uniforms retired, so that Willie and Tommy are sharing that. Can I just tell a quick Tommy Odell story? Tommy Odell was obviously an awesome All-State defensive back for Summit. He went on to Penn State. And in 1975, November of 75, now remember I was a Pitt fan and all our family was Pitt fans. Pitt played Penn State. This was a Pitt team with Dorsett. It was his junior year. And Penn State won 7-6. And Summit's Tommy Odell blocked a field goal and blocked the extra point. The field goal was with just a minute left. And I don't know if you fanatics out there, it was Carson Long was the Pitt kicker, and I think he was the last straight-on kicker back then. So Tommy Odell, big-time sports hero. He's the other one that has his uniform retired.
Right.
Willie?
yeah, and TOD, I mean, that's what I called him, TOD. But, you know, picking that number when all the guys that played football, Howie would, you know, the numbers would be called out, what number you wanted, and at the end, he went by, I think it was alphabetical. So I was last, and the only number left was 21. So it turned out well, but, you know, that was it. That's how Howie did it, and that's how, you know, he did things the way he did it. And you either followed the rules, and that's the way it was. But I didn't mind. I loved it because it was, who else would you want to share 21 with? I mean,
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky.
sand. Beauty I've always missed with these eyes before. Just what the truth is, I can't say anymore. 'Cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Never knew how complete love could be till she kissed me and said, baby, please go away.
I'm say, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Such a fine. But my life.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you. It's late September and I really should be back at school.
For the title that they gave, baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want you, the way that it should be.
Summit is now about ready to come onto the field, and you'll hear a cheer going up for them in just a couple of seconds. Every seat in the house is taken, in addition to which there are fans standing all around the end zone, particularly on the corners where they don't stand and block those who are sitting down in the stands. And they're all over the place. They're everywhere. If we must have at least 15 to 16,000 people up here today. That's a lot of people. And they're all here to see this exciting football game between Summit and New Providence. What a game we've got going for us this afternoon. Both teams exceptionally keyed up to this morning's Thanksgiving Day Classic. And incidentally, I believe it was 1965, Darren, when New Providence and Summit High School split. And ever since then, this has been quite a classic. Every Thanksgiving, people look forward to it. It ends the football season for both teams.
It has indeed. Before Summit High School was built, everybody from here went to Summit High School, and then they split, and this has become the annual rivalry ever since. All right, both teams are huddled together for the last cheer before the start of the second half. Both coaches must have been giving them quite a talking to down there, saying things like, let's get it moving, in the case of New Providence, and saying things like, don't let them do anything to you, in the case of Summit. All right, the teams are lining up. Summit will be kicking off to New Providence. Willie Wilson will probably be doing the kicking for Summit. Willie, Alonso, and Amelia are from New Providence. Willie, Alonso, and Joe Mealy are all three deep for New Providence. Willie Wilson will be doing the kicking. Instead of kicking from the middle, he kicks from the right-hand side, somewhat across. All right, here's the kickoff, and the second half is underway. A long kick, a nice deep boot. Alonso going back for it, but it went into the end zone. It was into the end zone, so it will be brought back out. Alonso didn't even try for it. That was a long kick. A good 60-yard kick, a 62-yard kick anyway. Very little end-over-end spin to it.
Sorry, we just can't say enough for this boy, Willie Wilson. He does a great job all around. He plays offense, defense, he does the kicking, and he's just a great all-around ball player.
He is an all-around athlete. All right, New Providence coming out now. And a sneak. have to unpile the scramble there to find out just who it was. Alako trying to go up on the right side over right tackle, and was stopped. There's a whole gang of them. Can't tell who it was. Gained about a yard on that one. Very little gain. Second down now, at about 9 yards to go. All right, Castano back. Hands off once again to number 21 for Willie. Willie trying to come around the left-hand side, I should say, and was stopped by John Elliott. He gained rather lost some yardage on that one. He lost about 3 yards total, so they now have about 12 or possibly 13 yards for the first down, and it's now third down. Scoreboard is marking it as 12. That's about right. All right. New Providence once again. Handoff. To Jeff Swanson. And Bill George made the stop. Swanson trying to come up again on that left-hand side. And New Providence once again. Got about 6 yards to go for the first down. Fourth down in a punting situation. There's the boot. It's a fairly long one down to about the 50-yard line. Landed right on the 50-yard line. New Providence touched it and batted it back to about the 35-yard line. However, the umpires are going to be spotting it down. It was batted while it was in the air by New Providence. And it will be first down for Summit. It's being brought back up to about the 48-yard line. So it'll be first and 10 now for Summit at their own 48-yard line. Okay. Wilson coming around the right-hand side. He's stepped over 2 men, and is finally stopped by Reardon at about the 43-yard line. The Providence 43-yard line. And Tim Nickerson, the right guard for the Summit offense, threw a great block on the New Providence line, enabling that play to go. He did indeed. It's about a yard to go for the first down. Second down, 1 yard to go. Summit again. Glossney carrying over the left-hand side. He didn't get very far. He may not have gotten the first down. I believe the referees are going to call a timeout to bring the chain out to check. It is the first down. First down for Summit. Lee Stewart made the stop on that one. Thank you. All right, Summit is moving. They are at the New Providence 41-yard line. He's back looking to pass, a long pass to Willie Wilson. He picked it off and went for a touchdown. How about that? Dario Chicano, number 20 for New Providence, had the play covered only to see himself slip. The footing is not that great out there, but there is some mud out there. He did slip, and Wilson was able to pick that pass off and step over about 2 yards for the touchdown. Tough break for New Providence. It was indeed. So now that makes the score Summit 18, New Providence 6. And here comes the fourth conversion attempt. We'll see if Summit can do it this time. That was quite a long pass. That went from about the 35-yard line down to about the 3-yard line. A long pass, and Wilson was there. He leaped up in the air and picked it off and jumped right over the goal line. All right, here it is. Going back to pass. And he made it. He did indeed. The first conversion, a 2-point conversion. A pass over to number 85, who was Bill George, the left end. So Paxson passed to George on the right-hand side of the goal. They have acquired another 2 points. That makes the score Summit 20, New Providence 6, and what a ball game we have today. And Barry, you can just feel the momentum shifting to Summit. They're really fired up. They've come out of the halftime, and they've really moved the ball well. New Providence will once again take over and start to march that ball down the field. New Providence closes behind 20-6. There's 5 minutes and 52 seconds left in this period. We are in the third period, and an exciting ball game it is. Summit seems to be quite charged, don't they, Bill?
That's right, I'd like to remind everybody that this game is being brought to you by the Villa Restaurant in Summit.
55 River Road in Summit, to be exact. All right, New Providence now. Here comes Castano trying to run over his left tackle. Bill George was on the tackle on that one. He stopped him. Number 23, Bob Castano, quite a quarterback. This 5'11" senior. He weighs 160 pounds, and he moves like a guy who weighs 200 at times. He really moves that ball.
WKMB Sterling.
So, it's fourth down now, and about 6 yards to go. Bill Smith is coming into front now. So New Providence was unable to move that ball. That was a nice handoff, but he was stopped before he ever reached his line of scrimmage. All right, here's the, a low one, but he gets it off anyway. A nice high kick. The ball moves right forward. It takes a bounce and heads towards, he's being picked up and a run, and that's Willie Wilson. Wilson is running. He's trying. He's going. He's down to the 50. He's down to the 40. He's down to the 30. And to the 20. He's going all the way for a touchdown. Willie Wilson. What a ball player that is.
Unbelievable, Barry. He picked that ball up when actually the Summit team rolled New Providence to sleep on that. They did not expect a return. Wilson delayed, circled back to his left, and went right down the right side for an unmolested touchdown. Unbelievable run by Wilson.
And the blocking by the Summit players was fabulous. It was the interference running along with him, took him all the way down, and he just took that ball and took it away. All right, that brings the score now to 26. Summit is leading New Providence 26-6. This ball game has broken wide open.
Summit has really come out since the halftime, really fired up there. New Providence has not been able to stop them on defense, and they have not been able to move the ball offensively at all.
Here's a conversion try now. Paxson looking to throw, and he throws, and it's caught. Bill George. George had a one-hander on that one. He reached up that one hand and snagged that ball in. He was right underneath the goalpost when it happened, and it was a good one. So now, that's another two-pointer. 28-6 is the score. Summit leading New Providence, and you're listening to the Summit New Providence Classic game on Thanksgiving Day, being brought to you, of course, by the Villa Restaurant at 55 River Road in Summit.
Now, I'd like to remind all our listeners that this is WKMB Sterling. We're entering the final stages of the game. There's 1 minute left to play. That's unofficial, of course.
No, it is official. They just announced earlier that the scoreboard is the official clock, so we are now within... No? Oh, it's on the field. All right. All right, Jemison trying to go over the left or the right side. Stopped there by Lee Stewart, number 81. First down. He got his first down. So now it'll be 1st and 10, and the ball is sitting at about the 15-yard line. Correction, about the 10-yard line. No, I was right the first time. It's got the wrong end of the field from where we are. 15-yard line now. 15 to go for the goal, and 10 now to go for the first down. 1st and 10. Handoff. No, he can't go anywhere. Trying to get Jemison through there. Trying to go up through the middle. Stopped there by the 3 linebackers. Lyons, Cirilli, and Swanson. He was stopped hard. About a gain of maybe a yard. 2nd down. There it is. Down. 6, 5, 4, 3. Now the clock is stopped at 4. And that was the game. That is the game. All right. That's the end of the game with Summit defeating New Providence by a score of 28-12.
Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 to 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. 3rd boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Whoa, worn out suit and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies. I but not too big around. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all their children, all of their names, and every handout in every town. Every locked, it ain't locked when no one's around. I sing trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. I've but 2 hours of pushing broom, buys an 8 for 12 4-bit broom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys.
I went to a garden party to reminisce with my old friends, a chance to share old memories and play our songs again. When I got to the garden party, they all knew my name. No one recognized me. I didn't look the same, but it's alright now. I learned my lesson well. You see, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. And people came from miles around, everyone